Charnel not here today?
Yes, she is. She's in her office. She is. So do we have our sign-in sheets? Do a little bit of housekeeping this morning. We need to make sure you get signed in on your sign-in sheet. And there's one guy who is printing his name over there out the side of his signature, and I just want you to know how much I appreciate that. Thank you. I now know who you are, so if you get tired, if your hand gets tired, and you don't want to do it, you don't have to because I know who you are now. But I do appreciate you doing that. And at some point, this desk and all of this stuff over here is going to be moved out of here this week. That'll all be gone. So the room will become more, easier to move around in and stuff like that. We're doing things a little bit out of order. Usually, you guys know that on Tuesdays we don't do a live thing. We do it on the deal. But we had a situation, so we have to do it today, and then we're not going to be doing it tomorrow. I will be in a clinical meeting tomorrow. But I want to share a couple of things with you real quickly. Now, we want to do things here the Boy Scout way. Anybody ever been in the Boy Scouts? All right, look at this. I wasn't a Boy Scout, but I was a Boy Scout leader. You don't have to be a Boy Scout to be a Boy Scout master. I never knew that until they called me up and said, hey, come up here, pastor. So I went up there. But the Boy Scout motto is to leave things better than you found them, right? When you go into a campsite or something like that, when you leave that campsite, there's no paper, there's no junk there, there's no anything. I'm assuming it's the same thing for the Girl Scouts. I hope it is. But that's how we want to leave. We go to the bathroom and we go in there and we go poo-poo. How many people go poo? Everybody goes boom, boom, every now and then. We go to the bathroom. When you leave out of that bathroom, then I expect it to be Boy Scout clean. When I go in there, I want to go use the bathroom, and I don't want anything in the bathroom when I go to the bathroom except a very nice, clean commode, right? I don't want to go in. I don't want to see any of your bodily fluids anywhere, right? I don't want to do that, and I don't want to find any. Look, I went into the bathroom not too long ago. There was food particles and hair in the sink. That ain't kosher. Don't do that. Clean up after yourself. Right? Right? You full grown, right? Evan, you full grown, right? Clean up after yourself. There are certain times down through the week you need to take a shower. When I pass by you, I want to smell some nice aftershave. I want to smell some I'll not be smelling. I mean, if I can smell it, I'm going to tell it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you, hey, you know what, you stink. You need to take a bath. So, there's not, look, and let me share this with you. There's nobody in here that's ever happened. I've never smelled anybody. I've never done any of that stuff. I'm just telling you that we need to watch our hygiene, make sure that it's good, because we're all living in here together, right? So make sure that the bathroom is cleaner than when you left it. When I go into a bathroom, even, ours is pretty clean, sometimes not so much, but I'm always going to clean it before I use it. But here's the deal. I shouldn't really have to, and neither should any of us really have to. We're all full-grown folks. So just clean up after yourself and make sure that that's not like that. I'm gonna do some walking through. I'm not like that. I'm not the cleanliness. I'm not the hygiene police. But just to be helpful. Every now and then, we're supposed to wash our sheets and blankets, right? Pillowcases, pull those pillowcases off. And I was told that you can pull the pillowcase off and you can pull the blanket off and the sheet off and go put those in the washing machine and then get a new one from the RA and go put those. They're already clean, and then go put those on your bed. Okay. So we don't want anything like that. Y'all know every now and then we have inspections and stuff. Now, not very often. They don't happen very often. Thank God for that. But every now and then we have an inspection, and guess what I want to do? Pass. I want to pass. I want to pass. Last time they inspected us, they came through this place. They looked at all of our paperwork. They looked at all of our stuff, and they walked back out of here and they said, nothing. We got not one gig. That's the way we want it. But if they go into the bathroom and they find poo-poo caca somewhere, they find somewhere where we tinkled everywhere, but in the tinkling spot, then that's going to be a gig. If they go somewhere and the beds are not made and the beds are nasty and all of this stuff, we had some folks come in earlier, but it was too early for our inspection, so the lady didn't do the inspection. But before she went, I went back and I took a quick look, and there were 3 or 4 beds that I had to pull the blankets and straighten those out. So we need to make sure all of that stuff is the way it's supposed to be. So thank you for that, and thank you for sitting through this. And this is for North Point and South Point. So thank you both for sitting through that diatribe. I don't do that very often, but I do like to be in a clean place, and I know you do too. And look, I don't get to hang around at North Point a whole lot, and y'all have a whole lot more carpet than we have over here. But our place over here is fairly clean. This is one of the cleanest facilities I've had the opportunity to be in. I've been in some facilities that were pretty nasty. This one's clean. But if you're not keeping your little spot clean, I'm going to come talk to you. I want to clean. Right? Everybody got that's all right. One quick thing tomorrow. Let me say this because I'll forget it because I was going to say it 9 times, but I've already forgotten. When you walk out of your room, if you're the last person in the bathroom or you're the last person in that, cut the lights out. Cut the lights out. It's expensive. Electricity, everything's going up, so it's expensive. I learned that when I was in the military. I learned that out at the prison. The prison, when they showed me they didn't show me, they told me the cost of the electricity is like $3 million a year for the electricity. So every light has to be off. So when you leave a room, cut the lights off. There's nothing in there. And look, y'all know why they keep the lights on at the Motel 6? Y'all remember old Bob Bard, what was his name?
I don't know the name. I know the person talking about.
Yeah. Some Burdette, John Burdette or Bob Burdette, he would come on and say, we leave the lights on for you at hotels. Y'all know why they leave the lights on? Keep the roaches away. Yeah, the roaches running high over there. We don't have roaches in here. We got a guy come around every now and then and spray some stuff, and I don't see any bugs or anything. So that's good stuff. Praise God for that. I don't like it. So you can get what was it? You saw? Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's what we keep. Keep them in that one spot. Marlon, you had something? I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
Why every time you drop pieces of yourself?
What? Because I'm the best looking guy in here. I don't know if y'all can hear him over at North, but he just said, man, how come you so good looking? And I just can't help it. But he said, why not draw pictures of myself? I'm so excited that Mr. I can't say his name now. Jamarlin, I'm so excited that he thinks I'm that young and that built up. I mean, gosh, thank you, Jamarlin. I appreciate that. And I looked that good, yeah. I got all that, everything else. That's a good time. So here, look, we're on physical health, and yesterday we talked a little bit about physical health. Today we're going to continue to talk about physical health. But look, speaking of physical health, y'all know sometimes I don't feel well, and today's one of those times I'm just kind of a little jittery today, so I don't know where we're going to go. It's not really my sugar this morning. I'm at 149, which is not horrible, terrible, bad. I had a banana this morning. You know, they usually shoot it up, but they shoot it back down. I have the tap sheet, but I don't have the I don't have the other one. So, somebody have the other sign-in sheet?
Oh, wait on the guy or
Okay.
I think front row needs to sign it.
Oh, yeah, he'll have to come up. Pass that. Hey, thank you, gentlemen. That way we got it all. So we talked a little bit about it yesterday. A lot of other times when we're out there in our addiction, we're not doing the good nutrition thing that we should be doing. There's a lot of times that I didn't eat for days on end. It was trash and garbage, and actually ate trash and garbage. You know, and so I wasn't nutritionally sound. I also wasn't doing any exercise at all, so things were just really not good with me. I had hadn't been to a dentist in a long time, and all of those kinds of things. So sometimes my health is not where it's supposed to be, or sometimes our health is not. So we usually, when we start out, we're in a poor place with our health. Then we get to a place in a second stage when we start, maybe when we come into treatment or something like that, we start to think about that. So the next one is contemplating. You've thought about making better physical health choices. One of the greatest physical health choices that we've made is what?
Come in here.
Come in here. Stopping the use of drugs and alcohol. That's the biggest better health choice you can make, because using drugs, using alcohol is not good for you. So that's a really good thing. We get that out of our lives, or we start getting it out of our lives, so we're making better choices. You've not yet developed a good plan. You don't have a really good idea where to start, but you're thinking about it. And that's a big deal when we start thinking about it. So once we get to thinking about it, then that's going to help us move toward a place where we can actually do something about it, right? So, but I got to think about it. I got to look at it. I got to see what we got to do with that to start with. So this guy's thought about it. He's over there. He's working out. He's doing all of this kind of stuff. So at some point, and this week, at some point, we're going to do something a little different. We're not going to do it today, so I don't want anybody to panic. But during this week somewhere, we're going to take all of these tables and get them out of the way, and we're going to go through a little bit of activity. We're not going to do a bunch of exercise or anything like that, but we're going to do a little bit of activity. We're going to do it in North as well. We're going to have somebody in there that says, do it this way, do it that way, and do it this. You know, so it's just going to be a little bit of activity. We're not going to do it tomorrow because it's that thing, but Thursday, we're probably going to do that. And it's going to be playing a game. We're going to throw a ball around. We're going to chase some roaches, you know, things like that.
Chasing what?
Roaches.
I was told not to throw a ball in the house.
Not to throw, see, already getting pushback, already a good excuse for bad behavior. I was taught not to throw a ball in the house. And then Jamarlin, I ain't chasing no roaches. Look, if you stand still long enough, they'll come to you. They're easy to catch. All right. This is our favorite study this morning. And I don't know how long this is going to take, but I'm not going to belabor it because, like I said, I don't want to say I feel bad. I'm just a little jittery, but I don't know. We're going to get done what we can get done this morning. And today is going to be smoking. What's the next word?
Cigarettes.
Smoking cigarettes. No, smoking cessation. What does the word cessation mean?
Right. Keep going.
What does it mean?
Want to do it.
Wants to do it? No, cessation means quitting.
Oh.
Ceasing. It is.
Not sensation.
It means. What is it?
Not sensation, cessation.
I can't say it now. As soon as you did that, I won't be able to say cessation. Anyway, it means that we're going to consider stopping smoking. Now, here's the deal: because it is a health week, we are required by the state to do smoking cessation. We're required. So, does that mean that you have to quit smoking? No, look, all of us that are in our program right now are full-grown people. You get to make your own decision about this. This is, however, one of the drugs, or the drug, nicotine, that nicotine itself is not deadly to you. Nicotine itself is highly addictive. It's probably the second most addictive drug out there. What's number one? And it's not even a drug. It's not a drug, but it's the most addictive substance on earth. Sugar. Sugar is the most addictive substance on earth. It's twice as addictive. It's twice as addictive as cocaine. So it's really, really, really addictive. That's why we eat it, we look for it, we search for it. We can even people, I have diabetes, people that are diabetics in here more than likely. But that's even people who are not diabetics seek after sugar every day. And we eat bunches and lots of sugar every day. So it's the most addictive substance on earth. Second thing is nicotine. That's why it is so hard for us to stop using. Nicotine is not what kills us when we use tobacco. Yes, sir. I don't know what that is. Okay. Well,
He did something else.
been in group a whole 15 minutes. I can't imagine. That to me is that's good.
He's taking over stress.
Yeah, because this is stressful. So look, overall mortality, we're going to be talking about the difference between men and women and stuff like that, and mortality rates and stuff. The overall mortality rate, though, among both male and female smokers in the United States is 3 times higher than people who have never smoked before. So smoking makes us 3 times more susceptible to all of these diseases that's going to kill us and all of that stuff. The major causes of excess mortality among smokers are diseases that are related to smoking, including cancer, respiratory, and vascular diseases. So smokeless tobacco, a lot of people get off cigarettes and get on smokeless tobacco. Is that a good idea? No, you still have the same issues. It's known for, smokeless tobacco is known to cause human cancer. In addition, the nicotine in smokeless tobacco may increase the risk of sudden death from a condition where the heart does not beat properly, ventricular arrhythmias. So smokeless tobacco, what's the main thing we talk about when we talk about smokeless tobacco?
Popcorn lung.
Popcorn lung? That's what we talk about when we talk about vaping. Yeah. So mouth cancer.
Mouth cancer.
Yeah.
Cancer.
Yeah. Cancer of the mouth, cancer of the larynx, cancer of tongue. Cancer of the roof of your mouth, stuff like that. Putting tobacco in your lip, it's concentrated right there in your lip, and it causes cancer. Now, does everybody that dip get cancer? No. But a high percentage of people who die from cancer get it from the use of tobacco. So, as a result, the heart pumps, if you get this ventricular arrhythmias, as a result, the heart pumps little or no blood to the body's organs. So if your heart is pumping, but it's not pumping correctly, your heart's supposed to be going, boom, boom, boom. Don't. When does the heart rest? Nope. Talked about it before. When does the heart rest? Between beats. So when you go and get your blood pressure taken, they have a top number and a bottom number. So which is the most important number?
Bottom number.
The bottom number is the one that shows you that your heart is resting. My wife has some blood pressure issues. Sometimes her blood pressure is like 300 over 120. That's way high. What that shows is that her heart is not resting. If your heart, my blood pressure is in good shape, and usually it's like 120 over 70 or 80. So that shows that my heart is pumping blood well and then resting. Pumping blood well and then resting. So if it's way up high, so we watch that blood pressure on that bottom number real closely. So if it's up there like that, and if we have the arrhythmia, it's going and it's not really pumping the blood, it's just going back and forth in your heart. And so if it's doing that, that's ventricular arrhymia. It's just going back and forth in the heart. So what that means is that you're not getting the blood flow through your body, and the use of oral tobacco of any kind can cause that. Does it cause it in everybody that uses it? No. But in a certain number of people, it will cause that. So, how many people do you think died last year from just natural causes other than tobacco?
One, about 2 million.
2 million people.
Yeah, probably.
4 million. 4 million.
Let's say 500,000.
500,000. Put it all together, there's 9 million and 500,000. But wait, I'm gonna wait till I get to the number. I was gonna do it by memory, and I just don't have it. I can't do it like that. All right, look here. The cigarettes, however, do cause a few deaths. And here's the thing: what I was gonna do, and I will still probably wind up doing it. I'm gonna put out all of the things that people die from. We die from homicides. We die from suicides. We die from other natural causes. We die from all sorts of things. And all of those things put together, the number of those things put together, cigarettes, the use of tobacco kills like 10 times more people than all of that put together. Tobacco by itself kills about 10 times more people than all of those things put together. So it's a real big deal. The Surgeon General said that if we stop using tobacco products, 95% of all medical issues would go away. There is a group of doctors, physicians right now that will not treat you if you take anything into your lung. If you smoke tobacco, marijuana, or you vape, they won't treat you. Yes, sir.
And why do they keep selling the stores?
Why do they keep selling them? Why do they keep selling them in stores?
I understand it's all about money, but if our health is that important, why would they put a ban on it?
Well, population. Well, let me speak to that. Let me speak to that very quickly. Look, you got a lot of open a can of worms. But let me share this with you real quickly. All right, y'all don't get offended when I tell you this, okay? Everybody, okay, we're together on that. Ladies, get offended when I first off, back in like 1923 or something like that, I can't remember the date, they banned alcohol. What happened?
Prohibition.
That was prohibition. We started using all sorts of kind of other stuff to get the alcohol that we wanted. So the prohibition did not work. Prohibition was in effect for 13 years, and then they took it out. But the reason that I'm telling you that is if the government prohibited the use of tobacco in all of its forms, then we would find something else to get into our lungs, something else to use in the place of tobacco. Here's the other thing. The government has put on the side of the pack of cigarettes, don't smoke this. If you smoke it, it will kill you. You will die. This product causes cancer. Don't use it. We ignore that. If you go to England and buy a pack of cigarettes, on the front of the pack of cigarettes is a diseased lung. And you look at that. I went over there a few years back, and it was very apropos. I was walking through a graveyard. They have a road in Hexham, England, that just goes through a graveyard, and it's a path you have to walk. And you have to go through the graveyard to get from this road to that road. I'm walking through there, and there was a spent pack of cigarettes laying down there, just a pack. And I picked it up, and I said, okay, I saw the dead thing on it, the lung on there. I said, how neat is that? My wife still has it. I used to have my own facility, and she would teach smoking cessation, and she would show these guys that lung, black lung, where people, and the point of that, the reason that's so apropos is, first off, it was in a graveyard. Secondly, it has this big old picture of a dead person's lung that's full of cancer and all of this stuff. And on the side of the package, it says, well, this will happen to you if you smoke this. And they smoked it. And they smoked all 20 of them. And then threw the pack away and went and bought some more. So if the government says no, then look, the government has said no. Now, if you look at advertisements, they have to put on there, the government made us tell you that this is harmful to your health, that this causes cancer, that this will kill you. We don't care. We still do it. Now, here's the part that you could get offended on. I don't need the government to tell me not to do something stupid. I don't need some guy from the government to say, hi, look here, y'all. That there kid you now, don't do it. I'm going to take your cigarettes now, I'm going to take them away from you. Because you know what? That'll kill you, man. That'll kill you dead. So you can't have them. I don't need some bobo from the government to tell me. I know that. I know. And look, one of the hardest things, I used to smoke three packs. I used to smoke 3 packs a day, and sometimes more than that. When I started drinking or smoking something else, I'd smoke more. So, no, the government has tried its best. It is the cigarette companies, because we live in the United States of America. We have the right to offer somebody something that may be harmful to them. That's why they build cars and motorcycles that go fast enough to kill you. That's why they sell us guns. That's why all of those things. And then the government taxes all of that stuff that we shouldn't do.
So then why don't they make drugs we tax them?
Well, that's another good thing, because the drug that is in cigarettes is what? Nicotine. Nicotine's not harmful. Unless you take it in huge amounts, it's not harmful. The cocaine and the marijuana and the alcohol and all of that other stuff is much more harmful. They tried to take away alcohol. People died by the hundreds of thousands. So, they had to repeal prohibition because we wouldn't have it. Now, there are countries like Sweden, a place like that, where drugs are legal, and people use it, and their death rate from the use of those legal drugs are huge. People die every day. So they keep that schedule of drugs, knowing that if you use this cigarette, if you smoke this cigarette, you're going to die from it, right? But it's going to take you 40 years to do that, so you can still have a fairly good life. You can still have a good job. You can still have a nice home. You can still have a family. You can still become a grandfather. You can still become a great-grandfather while you're using tobacco. It's not going to kill you to smoke, right away. It's going to take a long time. It's the slowest form of suicide. But if you use these other drugs that we've made illegal, they'll kill you in a day. They'll kill you in one dose. They'll kill you in just like that. You may not mind because you're high, but you can die immediately from that. Lots and lots of people overdose and die. Lots and lots of people have heart attacks because they're using too much cocaine, which will just blow your stinking brains out. They've got all sorts of alcohol will destroy your liver and all of that kind of stuff, but it takes a long time to do it. This is why they will allow some drugs, but won't allow other drugs. And if they make it legal, then all of these kids out here, these 12-year-olds, this is one of the things that causes me to get on a soapbox about marijuana, because I have a lot of people tell me, well, they use it to treat this, and they use it to treat that, and they use it to treat that, and all of that kind of stuff. You're not interested in that stuff. And if you've got, I have my brother-in-law right now that just sent him home to die. He has cancer all over his body. He's had leukemia for years and years and years. Now it's just kind of metastasized and moving into bone. So they sent him home and all of this stuff. I don't care. His name is Herschel as well. I don't care if Herschel smokes marijuana. If it makes him feel better, okay, I don't care. If it makes him feel better to drink like a pint of gasoline and then smoke a cigarette, I don't care. He's 89 years old and he's got stage 4 cancer. But what happens is when I'm smoking that 12-year-old boy, they're going to start it as well. And so he's going to get, okay, now I'm going to smoke because it cures cancer. It does not. It treats this disease and it does not. Smoking marijuana doesn't do any of that. But the kid is not, he doesn't have stage 4 cancer, but he just high. So that's why some of these drugs are illegal and some of them are not. Some of them will not kill you right now. Some of them will.
I'm not promoting drug legalization. Yeah. I'm just trying to ask.
No. I appreciate that. That's how we do the groups. It makes them good. But here's some of the things. Cigarette smoking causes about 1 out of every 5 deaths in the United States every year. Was that, if you're a real good mathematician, what does that mean? 20%. Look at that, right up front. 20%. 20% of the people who die every year die because of smoking cigarettes. Oh my God. That's a huge stinking number. Huge. 20%. That's huge. Here's some. Cigarette smoking is estimated to cause the following thing. More than 480,000 deaths annually. So 480, 500,000 people every year die from cigarette smoke. And this includes cigarette smoke from secondhand smoke. So people are killing their own children, killing the people in their homes that don't smoke. I've had people, dozens of people down through the years. Although, we do these smoking cessation things, and I've had people tell me, well, that just makes me want to smoke. I can't wait to break, Okay, all right. But I've had dozens and dozens of those people tell me down through the years, what I do, I don't want my kids to do. I don't want my kids to get mixed up in drugs. I don't want my kids to smoke. I don't want my kids to drink. I don't want my kids to cuss. Well, let me tell you something. What you do, your kids do. You make it okay. You make it right. You are the parent. You make it the thing to do. When I'm a kid and I'm looking at my papa, I'm looking at my mama sucking smoke down their throat, I'm going, man, I got to get me one of them there. And that's what I do. So I'm going to do what you do, whether you want me to do what you do or not. That old adage, you do what I say do, don't do what I do, is trash. It's garbage because the kid's going to do what you do. They're going to. And when they see you do it, then they go out into the world and one of their friends said, hey man, you want one of these, or you want these pills, or you want one of these drinks, or you want one of this right here, all of that stuff. The power that they have to say no is lessened a whole lot by the fact that they saw you do it. If they saw you do it, they're going to think it's okay. Their peers are trying to get them to do it, so there they go. So if you don't want your kids to smoke, you got to quit. So that's secondhand smoke. One of the things that we don't pay much attention to, we pay a lot of attention to secondhand smoke, is third-hand smoke. Third-hand smoke is when you say, well, I will smoke around my children in the house, and then I go out there in the backyard somewhere, and then that's where I smoke. Our baby child pick them up and say, how you so sweet? And they got all of that smoke and all of that junk is on my clothing, in my hair, in my breath, all over me, and I'm giving it to them, and so it affects them as well. So it is a thing. It's not as big as smoke is, but it is a thing. So 278,544 deaths annually among men, including deaths from secondhand smoke. 278,544 guys croak every year from using tobacco. 201,773 deaths happen among women. So why is it different?
More men smoke.
But it is.
More guys smoke more than women.
Guys smoke more than women, perhaps so, and guys start younger, want to experiment quicker, earlier, so we start smoking earlier. We will smoke more. We'll wind up smoking 2 packs a day, 3 packs a day. For ladies, usually limited to a half a pack to a pack a day, which is way, 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 way too much to putting into your body. The nicotine is there to keep you addicted to it. You become addicted to the nicotine. But as you smoke, there's a whole lot of other stuff that gets into there. We're going to take a look at it. Now, secondhand smoke, exposure to secondhand smoke causes nearly 42,000 deaths each year among adults in the United States. And that's among adults. It's not talking about children. Secondhand smoke causes 7,333 deaths from lung cancer. And that's tragic that 7,333 people on average a year get lung cancer from secondhand smoke, from somebody else smoking. I don't. If you start smoking, I go over to North on a daily basis usually, and I meet with some of the folks there, and they're smoking. I don't smoke. I used to. I haven't smoked in many, many, many years. But when they start smoking, if the wind is bringing that smoke my direction, I'm moving. And everybody giggles and thinks, well, look, Dr. Garner's maybe because he's smoking. Yeah, okay. But look, I'm not stupid. Because I can get lung cancer because you're getting your own lung cancer and you're sharing your lung cancer with me, and I don't want lung cancer. So I want to get out of your smoke if I have to leave your vicinity and go away. That you go over there, you go ahead and commit your own suicide. You'll notice I don't come out here and sit around with you when you go out and have your smoke breaks. I don't go out there and sit. I'm not gonna do that. I had somebody tell me the other day that, they liked a certain brand of cigar because it was smoother than the other brand of cigarette. Okay. Still, same thing. It's made to taste a little better so that they get you more addicted to it. Secondhand smoke caused 7,333 deaths from lung cancer and 33,951 annual deaths among male and female from heart disease. So, if you're smoking around your children, smoking around people who don't smoke, you're helping them get heart disease. So, you need to at least, if you're not going to stop, stay away from other people. This is dangerous. It is poison. But we need to stay away from those people. Men who smoke increase their risk of dying from bronchitis and emphysema by 17 times over people who don't smoke. From cancer of the trachea, lungs, and bronchus, more than 23 times. Oh, you're going to die from it. Smoking increases the risk of dying from coronary heart disease among middle-aged men by 4 times. So women who smoke increase their risk of dying from bronchitis and emphysema by 12 times, from cancer of the trachea, lung, and bronchus by more than 12 times. Between 1960 and 1990, that's 30 years. Deaths from lung cancer among women increased by more than 500%. Why did that happen?
When it starts smoking.
Yeah, they did. You know, they had that commercial. I remember it. It was Lady something other. They had the long, thin, Ginger Slims. And they had a long old Virginia Slims and a pretty young lady. Yeah. And 20 minutes after the commercial, she fell over dead from lung cancer. You know, they don't show you that. Yeah. So, yeah, it really happened. In 1987, lung cancer surpassed breast cancer to become the leading cause of cancer death among U.S. women. In 2000, that was 26 years ago, 67,600 women died from lung cancer. During 2010 through 2014, 282,000 women died from lung cancer. That's 56,359 women a year died from lung cancer. Yeah, and look, we look at this stuff, and people, they put it on the side of the package, and they put a dead lung on the package, and they do all of this stuff, and they say, "Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it," and we still do it. And we go through stuff like this, and it's everywhere. If you Google it, it'll come up and say, "Oh, can you just don't do it? Just don't do it. It's the craziest thing. It's the dumbest thing. It's the crazy, brilliant people do crazy things. You know, don't do it." But we do it anyway, and all of these people die from it. Tobacco use causes disease and death each year. Smoking causes thousands of deaths from numerous diseases. We have a label that's going to show us some of them. Lung cancers last year, 74,000 people. 74,300 people. Let's just look at the total. Lung cancer caused by smoking or the use of oral tobacco, 127,700 people died. Other cancers, 36,000 other cancers. Cancer caused 163,700 deaths last year. Coronary, 99,300 people died from coronary disease. Other heart diseases, 25,500. Cerebral vascular disease around your head and stuff like that, 15,000 people died from that. Other vascular diseases, 12,000 people died from. COPD, we had 113,000 people die from that. Pneumonia, 12,000. Influenza, tuberculosis, we had 100,600. 100,600. Just a ton of people. Cardiovascular stuff, just a whole 437,400 people died from all of that stuff. And so there's just a whole lot of junk there that's a whole lot of people have died just because of the use of air. So that's most of that part of that, but this is the other part of it. So I want to go over this as well. This is interesting. So this is the body's response to nicotine, tobacco, and vaping. 1 in every 5 deaths is caused by smoking tobacco, secondhand smoke. So what is nicotine?
Plant.
It's a plant. It is plants.
Actually, it's in a lot of plants, isn't it?
Say it to me again.
It's in a lot of plants, isn't it?
No.
Multiple different plants.
Nicotine. I don't know. Let's read what it is. What is nicotine? Tobacco is a leafy plant grown all around the world. It is used by so many people because it contains a powerful drug called nicotine. I hadn't heard about it being in other plants.
I think it's the highest in tobacco, but I do believe it's in other.
I'm gonna look. Nicotine is very addictive. Say it again? Menthol. Menthol is not nicotine. No, it's not. It's different. Yeah, that's different. People smoke, sniff, chew, inhale, do all sorts of things. For your cigarettes, cigars, vaping devices, hookahs, smokeless products. Just being around people who smoking can be dangerous. Breathing other people's smoke can do that. Chewing tobacco, snuff. Will chewing tobacco? It's in you don't smoke it into your lungs, but you've got in your mouth. Will it cause lung cancer?
Yes.
How does it cause lung cancer?
Yes, inhaling it.
Swallowing blood.
Swallowing some of it, yeah, and then you're still breathing. So if you have it in your mouth and you breathe that into your lungs. So that's how that works. Snuff, ground tobacco can be sniffed or put between your teeth and gums. Dip and snuff. You know what snuff is? That's a small pouch of wet snuff. I know people who do that. Nicotine is absorbed into your bloodstream. It goes to your adrenal glands, which are just above your kidneys. The glands release adrenaline, which increases your blood pressure, breathing, and heart rate. Adrenaline also gives you a lot of good feelings all at one time. So that's why nicotine is so addictive. There are some other health things that we're going to look at, but I'm thinking I'm going to hold this one up here just a minute because what I want to do, I got one other thing I want to look at. So we're going to take our break a little bit early because I'm missing a portion of my stuff here, and we'll get back here. Get back here at about 15 after. We'll take a good long break, and we'll see y'all after. Then you can have coffee. Don't smoke anything. Kill you. And I'll see if I can get the rest of this. Should have that in there.
What did you say about people on 27 hours?
To that paperwork.
We going today? I want some. Yeah. Go ahead. There's mom living. Shit, this is good. Yeah. And that was what they dude. Broken to 12 o'clock. I'll do it.
Yes, sir. What thing is on the back of your It goes somehow. Ah, okay.
What these good?
is it? Not staring at it. It's like, what?
Okay.
Oh shit. Hey, I got you guys already. But you're not doing something. Okay. Also, how hard do you do one of those three runs? Yeah, huh? Yeah, we'll be getting all these 14.
Sure. So right there, wow. Because you could have been clocking out. It's not impossible. Really? Really? Okay. Hey, it's early this morning, right? Nobody gonna check in with you my work? No, man. I'm telling you, we my on this bitch ass shit, man.
Okay?
Wonderful.
Missed you yesterday.
Oh, thank you. I was at home. My grandbaby is still sick. Still running fever.
Was that
See that? What do you think with? That's playing by me. They practices for
That's like,
yes, she's doing it.
Right. Shut.
Oh, well. What's the point? That's it. You tell me one, he did. I'm worried. They're not. Okay. Strong stuff. Yes. Everything else in 20 minutes. Got half off. That's one. Yeah, only one. That's two. It's a combination.
Nothing wrong. That's how we
What do you rather?
Said somebody can rip today. I think my man first this morning. That's good enough. I'm up. So,
Go with the first cat.
Oh, that shitty store right there.
for yourself?
Yeah, it's really hot.
I feel myself this I do the And I've been, I feel like a little beef. And I've been,
You can turn this into speech. Speech by right. Turn this. So, so this question, that's why we
I didn't do it because I
everything. So I made this one everybody. I would say they can't sure fat people like that when they try. They probably man, that's really probably had them. I saw to I don't know how to hey, what a
I will see this and look. I just don't see sometimes
this ain't my shit though.
I mean,
I mean,
Come on, Travis.
there's the crack
Oh, you got some.
Good. It is worse. Gang, man. Gang.
you know what I'm saying? So,
Think about this.
yeah, I mean,
I got.
Okay. Really stuff.
um,
Yeah,
she used to walk, make repairs, and, all this rain go on. Got your hand? Just walk over there, back, there you go. It's called all terrain. It's right there on Top Street. It's all over us. Okay.
All righty then.
Sorry about that, Mr. Gordon.
No, you do good work, my friend. Really does. He's a good man. So we're going to get back at this. We've got a few people who haven't made it back yet. I see that one lady over there. Oh no, that other lady. Yeah, wake her up. Yeah. So we're going to talk. This to me, I don't know about you, but this to me is an interesting part of this tobacco cessation thing. We don't have a RA. We've got people outside going against the smoking cessation. Good time, come on in. Take over here. So this is probably, for me, this is the most interesting. I won't say exciting, but this is the most interesting part of this group. And because I want to know, this tells us exactly what's in what we're smoking. And I thought I had it already, but I didn't. So I will keep it. The first thing that's in a cigarette, something we're sucking down our throats every time we get a hold of it, is nicotine. And we already know about nicotine. We've already talked about nicotine. But kind of while we're waiting on a few of the other guys to come in, we'll talk a little bit more about nicotine. Nicotine is the addictive stimulant. It is a stimulant in the same category as cocaine, methamphetamines, and all the other stimulants, but it is an addictive stimulant that is found in tobacco. And I apologize, Mr. Odell. I had meant to look up whether it was in other plants and not just in tobacco. I haven't found it in any other plants yet, but I haven't really done the research yet. But I will. But this says it is found in tobacco. It doesn't say anything else. It drives the dependence that we have by affecting the brain's reward pathways. And we talked about that a little bit. It goes in and it dumps some dopamine and some other stuff into our system and makes us want to do it again and again and again. It also, nicotine is what's responsible for raising our heart rate and our blood pressure. Why is that important? It's important because while it raises our heart rate, that's what causes our blood pressure to go up. But it also, as nicotine gets into our bloodstream, it rushes the nicotine to every cell in your body. When your heart pumps blood, the red blood cells go to every cell in your body and dumps off whatever it's carrying, like food. It'll dump off the food that it's carrying to every cell in your body. So when you smoke a cigarette, the nicotine and all of the other things, the other additives that's in that cigarette, goes to and affects every cell in your body. So that's why it affects all of the organs in your body, because it goes everywhere, because it gets into your bloodstream. So there's a few other things, and it causes your blood pressure to go up at the same time because your heart rate goes up, which quite naturally, if your heart's beating faster at a bigger rate, at a quicker rate, then your blood pressure is going to go up. And what that does is cause strokes and aneurysms. Some people are born with a weak vessel in their brains and stuff, and we have brain aneurysms and stuff like that, and people die from all that. And so high blood pressure can cause that. And that blood pressure that's caused by the use of nicotine and stuff is a momentary high blood pressure. It goes up like that and can cause those kind of things. So we don't want to have that. Some of the other things that we find in the cigarettes that we're using is tar. There's a lot of tar in cigarettes. It's a sticky residue that is produced when cigarettes burn. A lot of the stuff that's in the cigarette is not, it's got like 63 different things in it. and then when you light it, a lot of that morphs into some other stuff, and we have about 3,000 different things that show up in the smoke that goes into your lungs. So the tar is a sticky residue produced when tobacco burns. It's not there until it burns. It contains a lot of cancer-causing chemicals, coats your lungs, and damages the airways in your lungs. Two things that cigarette smoking does to your lungs is coat your lungs with tar first, and secondly, what it does is kill the cilia that's in your lungs. I know what cilia is. Yes.
Is it like a protective coating?
Well, the cilia, it is a protective device, but the cilia are small hairs. All of your lungs are filled with hair, and that little tiny hair, as you breathe in, it goes down to the very bottom, and then as you breathe out, it's capturing everything that you breathed in, and it throws it out so that stuff doesn't stay in your lungs. As we smoke, every morning you get up, you're coughing, you have killed a bunch of those cilia. The ones you haven't killed, you have a lot of them, when they don't die, they become paralyzed. And so the ones that are dead are no longer cleaning your lungs. The ones that are paralyzed can no longer clean your lungs. They're just staying there. So the next morning you get up and you got that, what we call apropos, in an apropos way, is smoker's cough. So you have to cough up all of that junk that's in the bottom of your lungs that your cilia is no longer able to remove from your lungs because of the tar and the stuff that we're putting in there.
Any way that they can be repaired?
Yeah, there is a way to repair it. It is real complicated, and lots of people just cannot do it, but you have to quit smoking. When you quit smoking, those that are frozen over a period of time, like 24 hours, they will start to wiggle. 24 hours, not a very long period of time, 24 hours. Your cravings for cigarettes and tobacco products, nicotine is what you're craving. That'll lessen after about 3 days. Takes about 3 days, but it's a tough 3 days. In about a week, these things begin to be moving a little bit more. And after about 2 weeks, they start moving a little bit better. The dead ones are dead. They're not coming back. Sometimes your lungs will create some more, but they never grow to maturity, so they're not as good because we damaged our lungs. Just like our brain. As alcohol shrinks our brain, when we stop using alcohol, the body is amazing. It will start to repair itself, and it will never get back to where it was. So all of those that are frozen will come back, and over time they'll get better and better. After about a year, your lungs are almost at the same place as somebody who's never smoked. So it's a real good idea, but it takes a little bit of time, but it will repair itself.
So breathing exercises would be beneficial?
I think breathing exercises would be very beneficial. It helps get that stuff up out of there and all of that kind of stuff. If we quit, that helps. So the cigarettes also have in them carbon monoxide. What is carbon monoxide?
Same stuff they
Same stuff that the engine produces. It is a poisonous gas. It is the same as a car exhaust. So
Sorry.
it's just people just running all over the place. I thought there was a bomb scare. What happened? So it's the same as car exhaust. It reduces the oxygen in your blood. The carbon monoxide reduces the oxygen in your blood. Trees breathe out oxygen and they breathe in carbon monoxide. You breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon monoxide. You should be wanting that out of your body, but when you you smoke cigarettes, it puts it back in your body. It forces the carbon monoxide forces your heart to work harder. There are a few other things that's in what we go out here and we sit down that causes they put it in there so that it makes it last longer. Remember, the nicotine is just in there to make you stay addicted to it. All of the rest of these things that they put in the cigarette is there for flavor, to make it taste better, and to make it last longer, give it a longer shelf life, so that the cigarettes don't taste stale and all of that kind of stuff. Once you get a hold of them, so you know your cigarettes, you can put them in a carton of them in the back of the house and leave them there for 10 years, and then go in and smoke them. They're still good to smoke. But they're kind of the things that they use to do that is kind of toxic. And you know, I've had people tell me, well, you know, that ought to be illegal. They ought to be telling you that. They do. They tell you on the side of the pack, don't smoke this. Don't do it. They are being forced by the government to tell you that this will kill you. Don't do it. So, cigarette smokes also include formaldehyde. So what is formaldehyde? PCP. It has formaldehyde in it. PCP is phencyclamine, so it's not formaldehyde pure. But formaldehyde is what we use to embalm people. This is one of the only things I think might be a little bit good for us to put in there, because we are killing ourselves, and they need to have that, give them a head start on getting us involved if we smoke in formaldehyde. So it puts that in there. It also puts benzene. Your cigarettes have benzene in them. What's going on? Something.
Benzene is like benzo, like.
No, benzene is like a gas, like in your lighter fluid. It has benzene in it. So that's also the benzene that you're smoking is linked to cancer, is linked to leukemia mostly. Smoking, putting benzene in your body will lead to leukemia. It also has a pretty good chunk of arsenic in it. They put arsenic in it to enhance the flavor. So what is arsenic also used for?
Oh no, it's poison.
Yeah, it's rat poison. We put arsenic in rat poison. Where's another place that you can get arsenic from? Anybody eat those little red apples that they have here?
Oh yeah, it's in the apple seeds.
It's in the apple seeds. So, you know, I've eaten a few. Apple seeds taste good. You know, you taste them, and man, I've eaten a few of them, and they taste pretty good. But that's because they have that arsenic in them, and the arsenic tastes good, but it is a highly toxic poison to kill you. Now, you'd have to eat, you know, like 1 billion of those seeds, you know, for it to kill you. But it's not good, because arsenic will do like a lot of other heavy metals, and it will build up in your body. You know, so if you eat some of those seeds or something, whatever level of arsenic you get out of it's going to stay in your body, collect in your fat, and then you're going to put more and more arsenic in your body as you eat more of it. So every time you smoke a cigarette, you put a tiny little sliver of arsenic in your body, which stays in your body for the rest of your life. It ain't ever going to go away because it collects fat. It's going to stay there. And some of you don't have enough fat to collect it for a long time. It doesn't. So that's used in rat poison. So it also has ammonia in it. What do we do with ammonia?
But I got a question about the arsenic.
Okay.
You said it stays in your fat. So if you were to work out more and burn that fat off, would that burn off your arsenic?
That's a good question. I'm not sure about that, but it say it collects in the fat because fat is soluble and it is the easiest place in your body to collect. That's why marijuana collects in your fat. You know, it's the easiest place for it to get to. That's not the only place it collects, because in those white portions between your brain, collects in there as well. So, you know, if you smoke dope for a long time, rest of your life, you're going to have some of the metabolites of that stuck in you, those white areas in your brain. Now, that's why they can see marijuana longer than they can a whole bunch of other things because the metabolites stay in your body for up to 45 days. And I've seen it longer. I've seen had clients who were just weren't they? And they used it up and like 48 days they still had it.
See, that's what I'm worried about because I gotta go take a drug test. I'm worried, I used it. Hey,
yeah.
So long, and I'm worried. Yeah, probably.
And that's,
they say 35 days, but like you said, you can go 5 sometimes.
Mr. Grace. So the ammonia is the next thing, and that's used in cleaning products. I think you said cleaning products. It's used in cleaning products. A lot of the stuff that we have around here has a little bit of ammonia in it. I'm going to tell you, never smell ammonia. That stuff will burn the hairs out of your nose if you smell it. But it also it works to increase your absorption of the nicotine and make you want to keep the drug a little bit longer. It makes you get more and more addicted to the drug. It has. Say to me again. Ammonia, yeah, ammonia is used in fertilizer. So the whole, that's just some really poisonous junk that we're using. It also has hydrogen cyanide in it. So what is hydrogen cyanide used for? Yeah, they use it to kill bugs with, they use it to kill rats with, they use it to kill all sorts of things with. It also interferes with the oxygen use in your cells. So, as you use it, like we said, those drugs that are in there are transported by your blood to every cell in your body. So when they get it, when that cyanide gets in there, it slows down your cell growth and it does all of that, does some nasty stuff at the cellular level in your body. That's why it can cause cancer because it's fooling with you at the very cellular level. That's
Got a question. Roll up.
Yeah, rolling tobacco.
Better.
Well,
or super talking about
well, when you get a cigarette that has been manufactured, it's going to have glue in it. It's going to have all the other stuff that they put in it at the manufactured place. If you go out here and roll you up some tobacco that's in the field, and you just roll up a chunk of tobacco off of the thing there, let it dry out, and then smoke that. It still has some stuff in it. It has lots of nicotine in it, and it has a lot of tar.
I think he's talking more like Bugler, stuff like that.
Say it again?
I think he's talking more like Bugler and stuff like that.
Bugler and stuff like that is manufactured tobacco. It comes in a can, and it's manufactured.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is stuff in the package, buy that.
Right.
All the chemicals you're talking about, because they put it in there.
Right.
All that CO2 and everything else.
Right. Yeah.
They do it on purpose.
Yeah.
You've got real tobacco. You roll it up. You don't have all this stuff.
You don't have all of that. No, you're right. But you do have what you do have.
Yeah.
Which is what you do have is nicotine, which is going to make it real addictive to you. If you get it right off of the thing, you've got nicotine in it, and you've got tar in it. So you've got the tar in there.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of the other additives, but that doesn't make sense. That's a good excuse for bad behavior. Because first off, you're not going to be able to get that tobacco. Where are you going to get that? Where are you going to get raw? Where are you going to get raw tobacco?
North Carolina.
You can grow it at home.
You can grow it at home.
You can find seeds on the internet.
Okay. So buy seeds on the internet, grow your own tobacco. When you grow your own tobacco, you got to know you're going to get addicted to it, and it has tar in it that's going to destroy your lungs. It's going to coat your lungs with the tar, and then it's going to kill the cilia that's in your lungs. It's still going to do that. Your lungs, that's why we came up with the vape thing, to help us get off of cigarettes. So when Juul first came out with the vapes, they said, we want you to use this for 6 weeks. Use it for 6 weeks, get off of nicotine, and then throw the vape away. But we kept using the vape. So that gives us popcorn lung. That destroys the cilia in our lungs. That does all sorts of stuff, and it's not better for us. So here's the deal: when we're talking about raw tobacco not having any of the other stuff in it, nothing that we inhale into our lungs is good for our lungs. There's nothing that's going to put a good thing. And if we're looking at a weed that grows out here in the field that's addictive and puts tar in our lungs, there's no good reason to do that. Now we say, well, okay, if we smoke raw tobacco, then it's not going to be like this. It doesn't have all that stuff that company is putting in there to make you continue to use it, but it still has its own natural stuff that's going to probe your blood. It still causes cancer. It's just like marijuana, which causes cancer. So,
like, what about eating, like edibles and stuff like that? Like, edibles and stuff like that, they make them.
Edibles and stuff like that.
Is that better for you? Considered not healthy?
I think that would be better for you than smoking something into your lungs. I'm not a proponent of that because I'm not a proponent of any drug. I'm not a proponent of any of these things. I take drugs every day. I'm not a proponent of it. I would prefer not to have to. The other couple of other things that they have in there, they have the ammonia in there. It has a cyanide. It has lead and cadmium in them, in cigarettes and in tobacco products, and those are both toxic heavy metals. What's the big deal about a heavy metal?
Stays in your body forever.
It stays in your body forever. Once you ingest it, it ain't ever going away. It's going to stay. So they're building up. The arsenic is building up. So it's headed up out through the roof. So that's something we can.
You don't get that from smoking. You're using tobacco, oil, snuff, whatever. You don't get those heavy metals.
No, you do, because all of the stuff that's in cigarettes is in the tobacco that you stick in your mouth. And one of the problems with oral tobacco and stuff is that it's more concentrated. It's actually more cancer causing for that one point. And I've told this story 100 times, but it bears repeating. We showed a film one time of a guy who had used tobacco and he had kept it here in this side of his mouth for, 30 years, whatever, I don't know. But anyway, he got cancer, and they had to take off most of his jawline. It left a couple of his teeth. All he had was a part of his jawline here, and he had one tooth left in the back, I think, and one up here in the front. And all the rest of them were gone because there was nothing, the jawbone was gone. Had to remove the jawbone. So without a jawbone, you have no place for teeth to anchor. So they all came out too. And it was really funny looking because, his jaw was that short, it went up like that. And what he had done, and this was what was tragic about it, they talked to him about that stuff and asked him if that's what it took for him to quit using smokeless tobacco. And he said no, because he had it on the other side. He shifted from this side to that side. I'm going, that's how hard, and this was what the class was about, that's how hard the addiction is. It's a tough addiction. Even though, because we continue to use, knowing that it's killing us. We know that we're putting all of this stuff into our bodies. And and look, we look for all sorts of reasons. We look for good excuses for bad behavior. But that's all it is. And here's the thing. We're all adults all over there, all the ladies and all adults. And what we teach is smoking cessation. This is why you should consider getting off. I'm not going to make you do anything, and am not physically or morally capable of doing that. But what I want you to do is when you're using, when you light up, when you stick something in your mouth, I want you to be fully informed. I want you to make a completely informed decision. I'm going to put this that has all of this crap in it, and I'm going to light it up, and I'm going to suck it into my lungs, fully knowing what I'm doing. I want to put this in my mouth, and spit in a can, and look gross, fully knowing what I'm doing, and that's my responsibility. State gave the responsibility to me to make sure that you know what you're doing. This is another thing, like Mr. Odell was asking earlier, that the state does. The state makes it a requirement that you know what this stuff does to you and what it has in it so that you make an informed decision when you go spend $20 for a pack of cigarettes. So, and that's the big thing. I'm not telling you, hey, you need to quit, but let me tell you personally, you need to quit. Because your body's going to bounce back. You're going to do some greater things. You're going to live longer. People around you are going to live longer. None of this do you need in your life. And Mr. Odell again is right when he says, "Hey, you can buy the seeds off of the internet, and you can grow your own." How many people in here going to do that? We're not doing that. We're not going to do that. That takes a little bit of work. We're not going to do that. Even if we do that, gotta grow it, gotta let it get into maturity, gotta pick it, we gotta lay it out somewhere, let it dry, and then create cigarettes out of that. Now you can do all of that. We're not gonna do it.
That's not gonna make it any better.
Right.
No, so once you do that, even if you've done it yourself, like you were saying, it doesn't have all of this other stuff. It doesn't have the arsenic. It doesn't have all of that in it. But it still has the nicotine, and it still has the tar. And the nicotine is going to make you continue to use it, and the tar is going to kill you for using it. It's like that. So, and that's the big thing about this. We just want to make sure that you know, and we don't have anybody in here that's not smart enough to take a look at that and say, hey, this is something I'm not doing. We've done the smoking cessation thing for years. I will tell you that down through the years, I've seen probably less than say, you know what? I'm sticking quitting. I'm quitting. Over on Avenue A, we went through it a couple of times, and one of the guys there said, dude, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And we had one guy here at this place, and he said, I'm not smoking. So, we have had a few people take a look at the evidence and say, the evidence is strong enough against this crap that I'm going to do what's necessary to get it out of my life. But think about that. I can think of less than 10 over the 30 years of teaching the class. So there's not a lot of people, but the people who are still using, the people who are killing themselves by using this crazy drug, they're doing it with an informed mind. They know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. When you go out there at break and have a cigarette, you know what you're putting in your system. And that's my responsibility. It's your responsibility to do what you need to do with that information, right? You don't have to quit, but you know you should. And there's nobody in here dumb enough, because I know just about every one of you pretty well. There's not anybody in here goofy enough to say, well, I don't need you. There's a lot of people in here say, I'm not ready. I'm going to continue right now. I'm trying to get off cocaine right now. I'm not trying to get off cigarette, So, a lot of people with that. So, but at some point in our lives, we may decide that, hey, this thing kills more people than cocaine ever will. So, most chemicals are created during the burning of this stuff. When we combust tobacco, that's when most of these things are done. High heat causes chemical reactions. This is another thing that people using oral tobacco argue with me all the time. Well, I ain't burning it. I'm just putting it in my mouth. Okay. You're not getting it. It's true. You're not getting the chemicals that are created by the burning, but you are getting the chemicals that are inherent into that. Smoke carries particles deep into the lungs. When you smoke is heavier than the oxygen that's being pulled in, so it takes the smoke all the way down to the bottom of your lung. When you're using orally, then it takes it into your lungs, but not quite as deep, but it still goes in there. Here's why it matters: the health impact on us damages our lungs. We look. Not only do we have a possibility of dying from lung cancer, there's also COPD. What does that stand for? I know there's somebody smart enough to know that. I don't know what it is. Chronic. That sounds good.
Oxygen.
Something like that. I don't know. It's chronic, something another, pulmonary disorder. Chronic, something pulmonary disorder. It also causes chronic bronchitis. What does chronic mean?
Severe.
Yeah, severe. Now, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, that's COPD, is a progressive, incurable lung disease that restricts airflow, causing difficulty breathing, chronic coughing, and wheezing, primarily caused by smoking or oral tobacco use. It includes emphysema and chronic bronchitis with symptoms worsening over time. Key risks include smoking, air pollution, genetic factors,
Probably go say asbestos.
asbestos. Yeah, but that's true. They didn't say that, but you know that's true. It increases the risk of multiple different types of cancers, all sorts of cancers you wouldn't even consider, wouldn't even think about. Smoking, it can cause skin cancers. How on earth can smoking cause skin cancers? Smoking gets into your blood cells, it gets in the blood, it goes to every cell in your body, including your skin, feeds your skin, and can cause cancer from the inside out, and you have a melanoma before you know it. Affects your heart, affects your blood vessels, it reduces your immune system. People who people who smoke a lot are sick more than people who don't smoke. People who are out of shape are sick more than people who are in good shape. People who don't exercise are sick more than people who do exercise. So there's some things there. If we exercise, eat right, get healthy, and don't smoke, we'll be in pretty good shape. Now here's the deal. Why it matters. That's why it matters. Bottom line is a cigarette. A cigarette is not just tobacco. It's not just tobacco. It's a chemical mixture engineered to deliver nicotine quickly while exposing the body to toxic gases, heavy metals, and carcinogens in every inhale. So here's the deal. We do this to ourselves. I did it for years and years and years, and so I don't have anything. I can't say, look at me, I didn't do it, because I did do it. Now, real quickly, about vapes. Anybody here a vapor? Might have heard people talking about vapes. These are named for battery operated. They can look like cigarettes, pipe pens. They were meant to keep you from doing it, from smoking. But some people that can help you stop smoking, but there's not. We never did get enough science to prove that. In fact, some research shows that non-smoking preteens and teens who vape might go on to use tobacco, which is not good. Real quick, what is marijuana? What is cannabis? A flower, a plant. I had a guy tell me, well, probably more than one guy tell me that marijuana is a gift from God because it's a plant that grows right up out the ground, right? It's a plant that grows right up out the ground. So does alcohol. So does cocaine. So does most of
hang
things.
on, we'll get straight. Alcohol has to be processed. You're not just going to go get it.
So it does.
Cocaine, same thing. It processes it. So they process it with piercing.
And that's a good point. That's a good point. Cannabis refers to the dried leaves, flower stems, seeds of the cannabis plant. THCs cause people to change how they feel, how they think, and do things around them. THC is another chemical found in the cannabis plant that can make a person feel high. It can be added to food like gummies, cookies, eating large amounts of products. But that can lead to medical emergencies. THC cannabis can influence brain cells, neurons, and plants of the brain that control memory, emotions, judgment, which can cause many effects, including feeling happy, being less coordinated, losing track of time, feeling anxiety, fear, distrust, being paranoid, panic, especially after taking a lot. Having a hard time telling what is real and what's not, called having psychotic episodes.
That's some good weed right there, man.
One of the things about one of the things about this is not the thing about cannabis. This is the thing about tobacco. But one of the things we know about cannabis is that it also, being a plant, has the same tar that we have in other plants. And that tar, as we light it up and it gets high heat in it, does morph into some other chemicals. So we do get some chemicals into our body. One of the things that we know is that we don't know all that we need to know about cannabis. We're still researching. I'm thinking if we're going to find some new medicines out of cannabis, we're going to be able to turn that into something that's going to be very helpful to people. I'm all for that. All for that. Just smoking it to get high, not for that. Because it damages your lungs, it destroys the cilia, it puts tar into your body. It does all of the same things cigarettes does, except that it has less of those things that we put in it. I've had some people say, "Hey, why don't they make it legal and manufacture it and put it out?" If they do that, they're gonna put a lot of these things that they have in cigarettes right now. They'll put it in the marijuana, and it'll wind up being in the places. And they have it in Colorado and places like that. They're not doing that, but yes.
I don't know if you know this. Medical marijuana in Texas is not legal smoking. No flower. The only legal medical marijuana in Texas is either pills, tinctures, gummies, stuff like that.
Yeah, and that, see, it doesn't have any THC. That's nothing that's going to get you high.
No, they have THC. Very low amounts, but they do have THC.
Well, there may be, it's like saying that the O'Doul's, you ever heard of O'Doul's beer?
Yeah.
Yeah. When people say it's non-alcoholic, it has a tiny bit of alcohol in it. It has to have for it to work the way that it's supposed to work. But it's not. Can't even find it when you get to looking for it. So it's the same thing.
I do know that it shows up on my drug test. Whenever I go to my probation.
Well, if you go use if you go use CBD and put some CBD on you, then it's gonna. We had so many people. We had our facility. It was in Baytown. We had so many people coming from the plants. They would. We had one guy that was out there, been there 20 years, lost his job because he put CBD on his hand because it shows up as THC. You know, there's still a little bit in there. So, and that's, you know, so we're going to do a thing. Today is not that day, but we are going to do a thing one of these days on marijuana. And so we can get down into the deep part of it. We can discuss it, argue, fuss, and fight about it. You know, but for right now, questions, comments, or snide remarks? None? And I do a good job. Thank you, ladies. I'll be over after I'll pick up your stuff. Thank you all.